see if I can share my screen and what happens if I go here. Can you see PowerPoint?
Not yet.
Okay. So I had this problem once before. You're here and you got to like.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can see the slides now.
I see your email.
So it should have moved to slides, I hope. It's not. You still see my email?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Let's see. What do I have to do to get that up there? Maybe you guys can help me. Share screen. There. I get it this time. How about now?
Yes.
All right. Success. We made it. Okay. Okay. So what this, it's called the Pulsar XO, this device right here. It's what's called resonance frequency therapy. So there's no drugs or chemicals. It's called PEMF. So it's pulse electromagnetic fields. One of the big misconceptions, because I get asked this a lot, is harmful EMFs, right? Your Wi-Fi and power lines and all that. This is nothing, it's like that, but it's helpful, not harmful. And there's a lot of technical reasons why that we won't go into, but PEMF is very safe and very helpful. The device makes little or no sound. Now, if you put it up to your ear and you're being real quiet, you're going to hear some vibration, but it doesn't, you don't hear the sound come out of the device. So it's kind of, so what this actually is, if those of you are old enough, it looks like an old 80s music cassette. Right?
Okay.
The reason it does is this is actually a Bluetooth speaker. So this is what you would get like in a goodie bag at a conference. Okay. So it's the whole time you're thinking about this device, think about Bluetooth speaker, how you sync with your phone and you play a song. So what it is, it's a Bluetooth speaker where the speaker's been taken out and it's a coil. So the actual protocols are MP3s, just like a song, that are driving through a coil to make the magnetic field. Okay. So this is what I started with for a reason, because it was a proof of concept and I didn't have to build the mold tooling. And if you know anything about manufacturing, that's super expensive. So I wanted to prove the therapeutic stuff worked first. And then I tried to sell them and they're too confusing because of the Bluetooth connection, which is why I moved to the Vibe, the newer product. But it's an FDA general wellness device is how it's categorized. There's a ton of research out there. It's, magnetic therapy goes back to 3000 BC. I mean, so it's been around forever. PEMF's been around since the 1900s, Nikola Tesla. There's a whole lot of history as to why it's not mainstream in Western science, because 1934, Flexner report came out, Carnegie and Rockefeller and those guys decided you lose your medical license if it isn't drugs or surgery. So that's how all this e-stimulation just got scrapped, which is sad. Okay, but that's what happened. Anyway, one other person joined. Hey there. So the session lengths are between 30 minutes and 2.5 hours, depending on which protocol it is. So I just had a customer call me an hour ago, goes, hey, my mom ran fibromyalgia for a half hour last night. It didn't help her. Right. It's not gonna, because fibromyalgia is 2.5 hours long. You got to run the whole recipe. Okay. So it lasts about 3.5 hour battery life. I just showed you what it looks like. How does it work? There is tons and tons and tons of research and data, but to simplify it, it's recharging your cell's batteries. It's pretty common knowledge that everyone knows that your cells have an electrical charge on them, or you'd be dead if they didn't. Right. And when that charge gets run down, just like a car battery, you get sick. So recharge your cell's batteries. If so, you guys go ahead and mute your mics, please. I'm getting feedback from somebody. Unless you have a question, just unmute it and ask. Maybe it's a net that just joined. So And so, Annette, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Can you mute your mic? I'm not sure. The feedback just started, so I'm not sure if it's you. Okay, that's better. So, and it's low energy. It's 1 to 1,000 hertz. So your phone is millions of hertz. So it's way less energy in your phone as far as frequencies. And so it energizes the cells and it charges cells batteries. That's basically how it works at the highest level. So recharge cells batteries, massage cell brain, and something called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. It increases that. That's the main fuel for your cells in your body, and it increases it by 500%. So it provides a lot more food for the cells. Those are kind of like the 2 top highlights. So what I was telling people to do, I want you to use it 3 to 4 times a week. I did say use it as often as you want. You can't overdose, which is still true, but I updated it where it's blue in case you watched the video earlier. I got people that are addicted to this, that are using it 10 hours a day because they're running arthritis, PTSD, anxiety. I'm like, don't do that. You don't need to do that. And especially if it makes you tired afterwards, your body needs to rest. So give it a day or something for your body to get its energy. What it's doing is just like eating a big meal where all energy is going to your stomach. Once you run a PEMF session, the energy needs to go repair your body. So don't overdo it. Now that I give that advice, I got a friend that's bought 15 of them. He's an ex-race car driver. He has had 4 concussions and he's been on fire twice. He was taking 8 Ambien a night for 20 years. And this guy is, he's totally addicted to it. He just runs 12 hours a day and doesn't listen to me. Like, okay. So, but that's kind of proof you can't really hurt yourself with it. But if you get really tired, that's probably why. Okay. I was recommending, so you wear it with a lanyard around your neck, just like that. You can see in the picture, or put it in your pocket. With this device, the Pulsar XO, it's the predecessor to the Vibe. This one gets quite warm that we'll talk about. So I don't recommend putting it in your pocket or under your pillow anymore. And there's just not enough ventilation and it gets too hot. And the other thing is, I did this, right? I'm running under my pillow for sleep. You can barely hear it. It makes like a little bit of white noise, but it's changing frequency pairs every minute or 2. So if you're trying to sleep and it's going doo, and it goes doo dee, it's going to annoy most people, right? So if you're going to run the sleep protocol, which is 45 minutes, run an hour before you go to bed. Okay. So if you're interested for PTSD, there's a 10-minute survey. It's the VA thing. I want you to fill that out. Okay. It's free. And then I'll ask you again to fill it out in 30 days and I'll explain why that's super useful. So if PTSD is any of your main interests in this, okay, please do that. It's free. I'll do a report card for you and I'll explain why it's really important in a minute. Then I download the orientation slides. No, you don't have to do that. After this call, I'm going to send you a copy of this video. I'm going to send you a copy of the slides, and I'm going to send you the link to schedule your post review, which only 5 people have. So maybe it's you 5. Okay. So that's kind of the requirements for the study. This was kind of written around PTSD, but I want you to play with it and use whatever protocols you want, whatever you're interested in, the 47 that we have out there on this device. Okay. So some success tips: establish a routine, like to wear TV, reading, cooking, driving, walking, whatever your routine is, whatever protocol you're running, if it's 30 minutes or 2.5, you're watching a movie for 2.5, do it while you're watching a movie. Okay. Use a consistent area to charge it. I've given away 500 of these, and if nothing else out of this experiment, I can write a book on the amount of stories I've heard of. I lost it, I never got it, it's not here, they can't find it anymore, it's never ending, right? So put it somewhere where you know where it's at, okay? And it is, you'll see in the videos if you haven't already, the buttons are small, I understand that, that's why I designed the new one of them, okay? But the plus button, just turn the volume up 5 or 6 clicks to the maximum power, and then you can turn it down a little if you want to with your phone. So again, think of it like a Bluetooth speaker. Is I'm going to connect to this device with my phone, then I control it from the phone, just like I'm playing Pandora or Spotify or songs. Okay. Time your session, micro SD card, you don't need to do because I'm not sending any micro SD cards. What that allowed you to do is to do it without a Bluetooth connection, but I only have one per protocol. I can't send you guys 47 protocols each, right? So how do you know it's working? There'll be a, slow flashing blue LED means it's running. It'll get warm. We'll talk about the lights in a minute. It's going to get quite warm, okay, like a heating pad. So it'll get to almost 135, and we'll talk about where you can and can't use it. The new device only gets to like 105 for that reason. We designed it to make sure it didn't get that warm. But here's what I don't want, guys. I don't want to get to the end of 30 days, have you go, I couldn't figure out how to turn it on. I don't like this. I threw it away. I've heard every possible thing that nobody reaches back out to me and says, hey, so I love talking to customers, right? You guys can call me. However, please, it's better to email me because I'm 98% confident. I already have the video that's going to show you where it's at. And it's much easier for me to show you what you just asked me than to sit on the phone in my driveway with a connection trying to explain where the button's at, right? It's just way easier online to do that, okay? So yeah, you're welcome to try any of the protocols. There's 47 on the website. The magnetometer app, if you want, is a thing you can download to show that it's actually working, but you're going to know this one's going to get warm. It's going to buzz a little bit in your hand, close to your ear. You'll feel it, okay? You'll feel the warmth. 97% of the people will not feel the magnetic field. About 3% of you will. So if you are energy sensitive, meaning you walk in a room and somebody can suck the energy out of you because it's bad at that, or you see colors and auras, it may affect you that way. If it's too much for you, just turn the volume down a little bit. Just turn it down to 70% or something. But start at 100% because you'll get the most effect, therapeutic effect out of it. But I still have people running at 50% and they're getting great results. Okay. So it's the most common mistakes by far. Number one, they don't use the device. Use it 3 to 4 times a week. I just had a guy return a Vibe yesterday. I looked at the thing. It's like he bought it 10 days ago and he lives in San Francisco. So what, you had it for 3 days? Right? So you didn't use it, right? So ask me questions, watch for me. Like I said, some of the stories are unbelievable. I have one lady that said she's turning me into the Better Business Bureau because I'm harassing her or whatever. And I asked for her to do the survey. And she goes, I've never met you. I don't know anything about you. She signed up for 3 different studies. So she has 3 devices. And she says she's never heard of me. Okay. So one of the common mistakes when you plug in the power cord, if it's blinking red, it's charging. If it's not blinking red, you didn't shove it in far enough. So it's got like a little thing and a click, right? So it's one of the most common things. Push it, and it should be blinking red when it's charging. Solid red means it's fully charged. Okay. And we'll talk about LEDs in a minute. So where are the protocols? On the website, that's what the drop down looks like. The Vibe 55 is just a list of the protocols on the new device. What you want to do is go to where it says Pulsar XO protocols. If you're running it off the PC, which most of you will be running off your phone. Okay. So if you run it off your phone, this top left-hand hamburger symbol menu, click on that. The drop down will look like these protocols, and then click on Pulsar XO protocols from there. Is that clear from everyone? That's what it's, I don't have an Android phone, but that's what it looks like on the iPhone. So that's what you're going to do. Think of it as a Bluetooth speaker. You're going to turn the device on. It's going to flash blue fast, waiting for you to pair with it. You're going to go to Bluetooth and pair to tape speaker, and then it's going to be solid blue, means it connected. And then when you play the protocol, it's going to blink blue slow. And you'll get that, okay, after you play a little bit. But that's where the protocols are to run the devices. When you get to the page, that's what it's going to look like. You click on one of them, hit play. Again, picture Spotify, Pandora, or whatever. I'm clicking a song. Okay. So past concerns and part of why I designed it. Here's what's the most common thing that's going to happen. The Bluetooth connection is going to pause or drop whenever your phone engages audio. So think of it this way. I'm connected to a Bluetooth speaker and I get a phone call. What happens? The music stops, right? Because the OS on your phone says, wait a minute, you're playing music. I need to take a call. You guys get that? So that's going to be the number one thing that happens. It's going to frustrate you is phone calls. You can text all you want, but if you have notifications on your text where it goes ding and gives you an audible, again, I can't control that because that's how the OS on the phone works, right? So just know that when you play the protocol on your phone, if you hear this super loud noise, that means it's coming out of your phone and you disconnected from the device. I've had 50 people tell me, it's super loud, it's making a ton of noise. I'm like, it doesn't make noise, that's your phone. No, it's not, it's this device. I've made people do this, ladies, over and over again, and gentlemen. I go, lay your phone on the counter and walk outside with this device and see if it's making noise. And they go back and go, oh, I guess you're right. Right. The thing doesn't make noise. It doesn't have a speaker in it. So that's going to be the most common thing. Is everyone clear on that? It's going to disconnect if you take a phone call or you're trying to watch a YouTube video or something with audio. It will either pause or disconnect depending on what attitude your OS has at that moment. And trust me, I've tested it thousands of hours. Usually it'll just pause it and then you hit play again, but sometimes it'll disconnect. So if it disconnects, go just reconnect to Bluetooth. If you can't see it, it's called tape speaker. Just turn your Bluetooth off and turn the Bluetooth off and turn the device off, turn both back on, and they'll be able to see each other again. Okay. So that's the biggest issues, the pairing issues, getting that little lanyard through there. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard, but take a needle or something. And actually this is the easiest trick. This little tie wrap thing that comes with the USB cable, right? It's like on a bread bag. Take it with your fingernails and just rip the plastic off and just expose the wire. And then you can stick the wire through there and pull the string through. And there's a video right there. This is lanyard instructions. Watch that video. If you can't figure out the lanyard, you only got to do it once. Okay. Once you get it strung through there, then you'll be fine. So again, I'll send you this data, these slides, so you can go refer to them. But those are what the LEDs are. Flashing red means it's charging. Solid red means it's charging. Fast blue flashing means I'm waiting for you to pair with me. Solid blue means, okay, I paired with the phone. And then when I hit play, it's going to slowly blue flash, which means the protocol is running and it's going to get warm. Okay. So for PTSD, if that's something you're interested in or what you want to run, the reason I want you to do this survey is here's what's going to happen. Okay. Because I have tons and tons of data on it. There's a 93% success rate. So 93% chance your PTSD symptoms are going to come down. Okay. There's a 2 out of 3 chance it's going to be statistically and clinically significant, which is huge, which means more than 11 points. That's the good news. The bad news, half of you will tell me in a month that I don't think it did anything for me because it's erasing some of that bad memory and you forgot how bad you felt 30 days earlier. So the reason you do the pre and the post is I can give you a report card. I had a lady last week that was an 80 pre-test. That's as high as you can get. Post-test, she was a 12. And she goes, it might have helped a little bit. I go, oh, you have the world's record on the amount of help, right? It went from 80 to a 12. So this has been a weird psychology thing that I have several friends that are chiropractors and stuff and other doctors I've talked to, and they said, that's true with every kind of intervention in the world. So my friend over here is a chiropractor I've known since grade school. He videotapes range of motion whenever somebody comes in, right? Because a month later, they go, oh, I can always do this. No, you couldn't. You couldn't touch your nose a month ago. So that's a weird phenomenon. I just want to tell you guys that's what's going to happen. It will help you if you're doing it for PTSD, 93% chance it will. And to be honest, it's 100%. The 7% didn't use it. I can tell by their terms that they use in their report and stuff. It's like, yeah, they tried it twice and then gave up. Okay. So the one thing I need you to do, if you haven't already, and I'll send it in the link, is I want you to schedule this one-on-one session for 5 weeks from now. We'll do 30 minutes max. There's a couple reasons I want to do that. Okay. One is I said in the original material, I really need like 15-second clips to help with marketing. That is the best way I have to get the word out about these things. But I'm playing a guilt trip on you, right? I'm trying to psychologically say, if you schedule something 5 weeks in the future to talk to me, you're more likely to talk to me, as opposed to people I never hear from again when I give them a free device. Okay, so is that fair? So if you haven't scheduled that meeting already, at the end of this session, an hour after we're done, I'm going to send you those links. Go to that Calendly thing and schedule it. I tried to do it in a window before I went on vacation, but if that doesn't work for you, just email me some days and times, 5 to 7 weeks from now, we'll find something that works. Okay, is that fair? Everybody? Okay, thank you. So yeah, info@Resona Health, email me with any questions. Resona Health, put this email in your contacts, please, because here's what's happening. If you're on this call, that means you entered the sweepstakes to win this vibe. Because you're the only people I invited. So you know what the vibe is. Hopefully you've heard of it, right? Because you entered the sweepstakes. Those are the only ones I invited to this session. I'm giving one away, trying to every Friday, and I've only given half of them away because nobody responds to the email, and I didn't collect your phone number, right? And that's the email address. So when I announce a winner every Friday, it's sad. I can't give them away. I can only give half of them away because you guys don't answer the email, so I don't know where to ship it. Nod your head if that's making sense. Add me to your contacts. You with me, Annette? Okay. All right. So there's some references to getting started video. You can click on that. It'll show you how to, all the instructions, how to use it. You'll get this card in the box. It's got a QR code on it with a web address. Scan it or go to that URL, watch the video. It shows you how to use it. It's that easy. I did pretty good instructions. If people could actually watch them, it'd be awesome. So we're seeing amazing results. I'm getting some PTSD. I'm getting some crazy results. I can't announce this yet because I don't have enough statistics, but I have 100% with asthma of success using self-reported stuff and using these breathe ventilator things. How big are your lungs? We've got unbelievable results with diabetes and blood sugar, and I'm launching a big study in 2 weeks for blood sugar reduction. The top ones really are PTSD that I have the most data on: PTSD, anxiety, back pain, sleep. Now, fibromyalgia is the horse that's in the back that's coming up fast because I got a lot of people using it going because they have no other solution that's helping them. So there's hope. This stuff should be magic, and it is, but it's working. So let's stop my screen share. Hey, Meredith, it's still a picture of you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right, so questions. Ready? You guys hear me? Still, okay.
We can hear you.
All right. So that's it. Just think of it as a Bluetooth speaker. I'm going to pair to it. I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to go to the website, drop down. I'm going to play which one I want. Play the whole thing, by the way, the whole thing. So each protocol is different, and but it's not going through like 12 hertz the whole way. It's going through fairly complex protocols. PTSD is going through 76 different frequency pairs, so it's changing every 1 to 4 minutes.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So what is the approximate retail price of the Pulsar compared to the Vibe? I didn't remember seeing that on the website.
Yeah, good question. So the Pulsar was $399. I stopped selling it. Oh, sorry about that. I discontinued the Pulsar XO for the reasons I just described, as it's a little more complex, right? So I thought I didn't know how many people could not understand Bluetooth connections, right? So you guys are smart enough, you can handle it. But the reason I designed the Vibe is to make it completely standalone, no Bluetooth connection. Everyone goes, what app do I download? There's no app. You don't do anything. You just turn it on. This is the Vibe, obviously. You just turn it on. It's in alphabetical order. So if you want to go to wound healing, W, go backwards to get to it faster. Like that, hit whatever one you want. And this one, put it in your pocket. You can put it around with a lanyard, but I don't even do that anymore because it's so much easier to put in my pocket and I forget it's there. So this retails for $399. I have coupons and stuff all over the place for $249. Knock it down to $150 off. But that's the pricing I'm testing with right now. There's nothing else out there on the market that has that many protocols at that price, and it's the only pocket PEMF device on the market. I don't want you to put this in your pocket unless you have thin pants on. You can, but be smart, right? Is if it gets too hot, you get on big corduroy pants, gets too hot, turn it down a little bit or take it out of your pocket. Don't be like a couple of my friends that like sunburned their leg with it because they ran it for 8 hours. It's the race car driver guy that did that. Right? I was like, come on, Mark, didn't you feel that? Yeah, it was hot, but I didn't care. It's like, okay. So that was one challenge is, like I said, this one will get warm. This is 135 degrees. This will get to about 105, which is kind of nice because it's working, but there's a number of ways you can tell it's working, but it looks like an iPod on purpose, by the way. And I made it look like a Star Trek tricorder on purpose so you can see it's doing something, right? That's the actual frequencies that are jumping. So, good question. What else we got?
Do you know about how long it takes to charge?
Yeah, it's a real good question. It'll go almost to full charge in about an hour. If you really want to charge it well, charge it overnight. This one takes the Pulsar about an hour. The reason I'm thinking is I have this, I'll just share it with you guys because it's not fun, but it's fun, is I have a couple, like 6 devices out there that are of the Vibes, not the Pulsar, that magically do some weird stuff on the screen. And then when they send it back to me and I replace it, I can never reproduce it. So there's some weird mojo going on of I'm not in their house. And so it's like, so when you said that, it's like fast charger. So I figured, I found it this week. Everyone's using fast chargers and they're over amping it. Well, there's a pile of fast chargers over there I bought last weekend and I can't break one. So that part's a little frustrating. So that's the only technical issue with the Vibe right now is out of the 400 I have out there, I've had 6 of them that have some mysterious thing that will not show back up when they give it to me. So that part's frustrating, but hope we'll figure that out.
I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned the ATV. I have mitochondrial damage from Cipro.
Okay.
So I chronic fatigue. Will it help with that?
So Lori, here's what happens every day or every other day to me now. It's interesting. Somebody will email me and they go, will this help with TMCA-GSE? I have no idea what that is. So you Google it and you go, huh, you don't even want to see half this stuff, right?
Right.
It's like, don't go to the CDC without a cold drink in your hand or something, because right, you just see some scary stuff. So then I go, okay, so I have to go, is it inflammation? And usually half the time it's inflammation in the something. Is it nerve issues? And so I just tell people if it's inflammation, run general inflammation. If it's nerve related, run fibromyalgia. So the answer would be, I'd have to go Google that for a minute and look at it and say, I don't know. So I had a lady tell me I'm scratching my arm, like I bleed every week. I just get this debilitating scratching. I'm like, okay, it sounds like allergy or inflammation. So run them both and see if they help you. I've had 3 doctors call me up and say, this is working great for MS. I'm like, I don't have an MS protocol. So I go, what are you using? And then I guessed, I go, you running fibromyalgia? And all 3 went, yep. So
Yeah, part of the Cipro toxicity is fibro and MS. It mimics a whole lot of different health conditions.
So there'd be that. So you tried Fibo, you tried immune support, and then what all the practicing clinicians in the doctor's office that use some of these protocols, when in doubt, they just do brain balancing, and it just does a lot of magic. My favorite story, I've got a lot of them, but this one's my favorite, is a 17-year-old girl told me, she goes, Mark, I've never had a date in my life because I have Tourette's. She goes, no boy's going to go out with me. She goes, I ran brain balancing, the Tourette's went away 2 weeks ago, and I have a date on Saturday night. It's like, okay. So she has not had a tics and issue for a year now. I had no idea I could do that, right? I was like, oh, okay, well, that's super cool. So I keep running that stuff that I'm not a doctor, make that clear. I'm a rocket scientist, but I can make these connections now like, oh, well, that's probably related to this. And there is a Pollock and some of the other guys are out there. He's a doctor. They're in this field. There's some of them just say, just run any PMF. doesn't matter, it's going to help. And there's probably some truth to that, that it's still going to energize your cells, because like I said, some of these protocols I have are super complex. So what they're like, PTSD is a full body. It's in every part of your brain, skin, all organs. So that's why that one's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It takes a while, but got some really good success with it. All good questions. What else we got? What do you need to know, John?
Mine is just mostly mental health related, but PTSD is one of the things that I struggle with, not as much, but it's mostly ADHD, depression, and anxiety.
Okay, so I have depression and anxiety protocols. The ADHD protocol that we're using in this device, in both devices, has a 75% success rate at Cleveland Clinic. So it's interesting is they're using electrical wire. So you can deliver this energy with PEMF, magnetic fields, light, electrical wires, vibration in your chair, all kinds of different things. He's the older machines that they're using, they take electrical wires with wet cloths, but you got to run it for like an hour and a half, which the cloth gets cold, and kids don't want to sit there with wet cloths on them. So the electrical current's actually 1,000 times less than a TENS unit. So it's super low. So he puts them in a bathtub with their parents, and he has 3 machines running, and he throws the wires in there. And so he's just now running the new Vibe. He's running, test on that at Cleveland Clinic, and he's got a 2-year waiting list, but he has 75 to 80% success rate with it.
I was using one that was like a headband, and then you have the electrodes, and they had to be wet.
Yeah, you're talking about Fisher Wallace.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was
Fisher
using
Wallace.
that.
So they're all good. Fisher Wallace is, because it's wet sponges, it looks like the Green Mile and the electric chair, right? So I purposely, and I have this argument with my competitors, right? But we're friends. We're all in the same boat, trying to make all of PEMF more available, right? But I don't want to put anything on your head on purpose for that stigma thing. And me and Pollock get in arguments because he's making a physics argument that the magnetic field is not strong enough to go to your head from your pocket. I'm like, okay, yes, but because it's not. But think of it this way, like a pebble in the pond, the water in your body is resonating with it. So you throw a pebble and it travels through the water, and your body's completely conductive electrically. Everything is. All your organs, your skin, and everything. So you can what the hold on, sorry. So yeah, so it's that's how it's still a little magic. It has to be doing that for a couple of reasons. One, I have a lady with a broken foot that I watched this happen in Park City. Broke her foot, swollen this big, stuck in her top pocket, and swelling went down in 10 minutes. Like, I don't even believe what I'm looking at, right? So how did it has to be doing that, resonating with the water in your body. And I think I covered it in the chart, but if I didn't, it's a very important point. It'll work, but it won't work near as well if you're not hydrated. Okay. You need 4 glasses of water in the preceding 4 hours before you run the therapy, 4 8-ounce glasses. The stories that I've gotten from people about hydrated, I go, you sure? This one guy, this is my favorite story about hydration. Are you sure you're hydrated? Yes, I'm totally hydrated. I'm like, how much water do you drink a day? He goes, none. I go, why do you think you're hydrated? This is you can't make this stuff up. I had a protein drink last week. That's what he told me. You had a protein drink last week. Okay, so no, it's not going to work if you're not hydrated. So the 93% thing that I said, 2 reasons why it's not 100. Okay, stretching a little bit, but probably not. You didn't use it. You used it once, set it on the shelf, or you didn't drink water, or both. So that's the most common way it won't work for you guys.
I have another question.
Yes.
So is it better to just use a couple of protocols repeatedly over the next month for best results, or does it matter? Can someone just use a variety, like even the 10 if they wanted to try them out?
You know what? It's a super good question, and I don't actually know because I don't have. What I did is I started off with sleep studies, right, and PTSD studies, and then when I give it to the people, some of them do exactly that 3-4 times a week, and some run 8 a day of all kinds of different stuff. And then the majority of them feel better, but so I don't know if it's good or bad. The only indicators that I have so far is if you feel really tired afterwards, you probably went too far. So just back off. It's okay to mix them, but I've had a few people tell me that. I wrote a blog post a month ago about that because it's like I had 2-3 different women say, I'm really tired after I do this. I'm like, well, how often do you run it? Well, 7-8 sessions a day. Okay, well, don't do that. Number 2 is one of the most important things you guys all know is sleep. So if it makes you that tired, run it before you go to bed. So it helps you sleep better. Here's one weird, cool thing just for me personally, and one data point of 1 N. Okay. I have horrible nightmares. People trying to kill me. There's knives and bullets behind me. Almost always. When I run the sleep protocol, I dream about nice stuff. There's nobody trying to kill me. It's weird. It's like, and I sleep better. I'm like, all right. So for me, it's worth it just for that part is I don't have to wake myself up so I didn't die because somebody was just about to stab me type thing. It's like, they're nice dreams. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to say it anyway. They're Halle Berry type dreams, right? There's something to do with pretty girls or I'm surfing or sailing. It's something nice. Right. Annette, you got to have a question. Except we can't hear you. Can you guys hear her?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right, maybe you can fix it. All right, anyone else? Sasha? Meredith? Alicia?
I don't have any questions. I'm just excited to check it out.
Okay, great.
I just have to find the link to where you had the August meeting posted.
Personalities, kind behaving like a computer virus, a tapeworm, a botnet.
Distorting any and all digital information which it comes in contact.
Once infected, nothing recorded, stored, or transmitted.
Wow,
digitally
who's
can be
that?
trusted as fact.
At the outset, it concentrated primarily on using social media, which was a little
Kimberly, is that your
often
mic?
suited our purposes.
Until 6 months ago, when the entity breached Saudi Arabia's General Intelligence Directorate.
Okay, I just muted Kimberly, so I don't know. We were listening to some NSA operation or something, CIA, something going on there. There's a raid. There's a raid going on.
Indicating that the entity has since become sentient.
Kimberly, can you hear us?
Has a mind of its
Hi. All right, what else?
I've got one more question.
Yes.
So because this pulsar is connected to the Bluetooth, does it add like a little amount of radiation compared to, the Vibe, which does not get connected to the Bluetooth?
You know what? I've never been asked that, never thought about that. But to answer your question, yeah, if it by definition would have to add a little bit to it, I would think, if the whole range of harmful EMFs and stuff and all the Bluetooth devices around you think. But
Can you hear me now?
yes, I don't think it'd be much, but that's a very good question. I've never been asked that before. And
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Do you have a question?
Oh, I put it in the chat. I got your first name, but I didn't get your last name.
Oh, Fox, Fox.
Thank you.
Or Fox, yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, okay. Anything else or wrap up? Okay, so like I said, I'll send you in an hour or so this video. I'll send you the link. Highest priority, go schedule something for, on the Calendly, or if that doesn't work, send me an email, some days, time, we'll make it work. I promise I won't make you look bad. I'm just trying to, because there's so many Facebook haters out there. I get attacked every day trying to run an ad. Like, you're a horrible person. This is all a lie. And it's like, they won't go read any studies or anything. And so whenever I get testimonials from people or a 15-second clip, that has been the most helpful thing. And they're sincere. I don't want you to lie. It doesn't work for you. Tell me it doesn't work for you. I want truth. I do not want any voodoo. I mean, my number one goal in all of this was don't hurt anyone at all. And I've tested that so much, it's ridiculous, except the little Bluetooth thing, right? But, and then number two is I don't want to sell voodoo, right? I had a guy yesterday, he's like, actually he told me I'm going to the hospital, it's maybe feel worse. And I'm like, you have an infection then. And he goes, no, I don't. And then he kept talking. And then he told me what his blood sugar was, and I won't tell you guys what it was. I'm like, forget all the protocols that you're running, just run insulin resistance, nothing else. Every day for a week, measure your blood sugar, talk to me in a week and see if you feel way better. So I got to be a detective sometimes with that stuff, as he had 26 things going on, but blood sugar was by far the he should have been in a hospital for that. It was like, it was so high, but please do email me. Like I said, if you have any questions, please don't be that person a month from now that goes, oh, you know, I just threw it away. I don't know. I don't care. Because this whole, just so you guys know, this whole company, I'm a startup, right? It's me and the fish and whatever money I can get out of my wife, which I've been clearly told, don't ever come to that pot again. Okay. So I'm trying to make this work and get good testimonials and stuff. And I really hope it helps you guys, and for whatever's bothering you, because it's super exciting for me. The other thing too is for dogs and cats, works just as well. So allergies, separation anxiety, PTSD, 20 million dogs have been in prison, right? The rescues. They didn't do anything wrong, but they were behind bars. So I've got for the Vibe, got these little bandanas where the Vibe fits in it, and it goes around the dog's neck, you know. So I start selling to animals and stuff, which is got some good results there too. But right, so that's good. Thank you guys for showing up. Any last
I have one
questions?
more question.
Just go ahead. Go ahead. Was that Meredith? Who's one more question? Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'd like to know, how are they coming? Are they coming UPS? How are you sending them to us?
It'll be USPS, and I will send you a tracking number and stuff. And if you're one of the 5 that's already filled out the forward thing, right? I'll ship it in the morning. If you haven't, do it tonight. I'll ship them in the morning because I want you to get them. You'll get them in 3 days, 3 to 4 days.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for coming. Please email me if you have questions, need help. Okay. Don't give up on it. Don't run it once and say, it didn't work, because it's going to help you.
What is your email?
Well, it'll be in those charts, but that I'm going to send you. It's info@resona.health. There's no .com in the address. It's Resona, RESONA.health. And it'll be in the PDF charts and stuff that I sent to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.